I was watching a video this morning about a guy. He's getting ready to head back over to the Philippines after having been here in America for a while. But he was talking about all the concerns he has and the things he's worried about. And it was a pretty huge list. I guess all the times I've gone before, I guess I just haven't been as nervous and worried about shit. And the guy, I don't know, he's in his 50s, which doesn't seem that old to me these days. He's talking about, how us older guys have to go to the bathroom a lot and stuff like this, and worrying about his prostate and I guess, having some issues there or whatever, which I understand if you're having some health problems and things, something you need to worry about, especially if you're taking medications for something or whatever. Worrying about what's going to happen with some kind of a health issue and having enough money, things to deal with an emergency like that. Making sure you have the proper, like wicking socks and stuff, I guess, like dry weave socks and underwear and dude wipes and everything. I don't know, it just sounded like he was worried about an awful lot of shit, and not to laugh at that, but I mean, if you're the kind of person who's going to be worrying about so many things, you probably shouldn't be traveling the world, or going off to the Philippines or whatever. I mean, we all find things to talk ourselves into worrying about. It's the same thing with me, I've got another few years here probably before I head over there. But for me, I just feel like I look forward to all the different things that are going on. My wife was telling me yesterday, I guess they're putting in a new SM mall in Pagadian City. So that'll be nice. We'll have a nice big mall close to us and everything. A lot of stuff starting to happen around out where we live over there. And it'd be kind of nice. A lot of things, conveniences going on that they didn't used to have that close. And certainly I know that there's a lot to worry about, and I have things that I worry about. I had a huge amount of dental work and stuff back when I was a kid. I always thought for sure by now I'd have lost all my teeth, and that kind of fatalistic attitude about my teeth probably led to me not really taking as good a care of things as I should have through the years. I'm sure eventually I'm going to end up needing a good bit of dental work someday, things like that. I am going to be older. You always think that, just it's something you can't help but think about, what kind of medical issues are going to pop up, when you're in your 60s. I've managed to go through my whole life without any kind of really major things. Some, blood pressure issue, but a lot of that, if I can get my weight back down again and everything, watch my diet better, a lot of that would probably even go away. Who knows? But other than that, the only major problems I've had, I had a couple of broken bones and I had a hernia surgery a few years back. But in terms of having any kind of really major chronic issues and some of the problems that, people seem to have, I haven't really had too much of an issue. Even after with all the abuse my body has taken through the years and everything, and some of the self-destructive phases in my life where maybe I was, hanging out at bars and stuff too much, and my social life was drinking every night. To get to my age and not really have had any kind of really chronic issues and stuff, maybe a little bit of arthritis, and stuff like that going on in some joints. But I don't know. One thing, I guess, with my job, staying kind of active and walking around and lifting stuff and bending and twisting and getting some exercise every day has probably helped me. I know a long time ago, this one doctor I went to said that one thing about mailmen is they tend to stick around a long time because they're always moving. And that's a very important thing. So as aggravating as the job can be sometimes, you're getting paid to keep moving, and that can have some real benefits. But obviously when my beard starts growing out and I haven't shaved for a few days and you see how white it is, I'm reminded how old I am. But man, some people, you realize how many things they're stressed out about and like anxious about when they go on a trip somewhere and go, like, say, somewhere like the Philippines. I watched another little bit of a video after that from Amazing Philippines, and he was talking about all the things you got to worry about with the termites and this other kind of bug and brownouts and everything. And you don't realize, I mean, for sure, it's like the other guy that was talking about the dude wipes. You go to the Philippines and you can have, some stomach issues for sure. If you're sensitive to some of the foods there, or you end up eating something that you shouldn't have, whatever, it's not fun. I've been there before myself, and, but it was never one of those things where I thought, oh my God, this is something I have to make, so many worrying plans about in advance before you get there. And hopefully after you're there for a while, you kind of get used to things and, you kind of get adjusted to stuff. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting. You got to watch sometimes what you eat and where you eat, where you're getting your food, because you don't know who's touched it, or, even somewhere you get some ice or whatever, you don't know if was that water purified before they made ice out of it. Probably better off just sticking to, as much as I love iced drinks, like my iced coffee I've got sitting here and iced tea. I don't know, sometimes, you're better off sticking with just bottled water and not worrying about ice, as refreshing as an iced drink can be. There are things that, once you get there, you'll find out what your situation is and how you react to things. But it just reminded me how worried some people are about things. And, you can worry about things so much and put so much planning into all the little things that, that you might have to deal with, instead of just relaxing and going and thinking, shit, I'm on my way to the Philippines, let's go. My only worry these days is that now I have 3 cats, which is never an issue I had to deal with before. And I hate the thought of leaving my kitties where they're not going to get the kind of attention they need and have people to look after them well. So that's the only problem for me. Planning to go back over there for a couple of weeks next year. And got to find a good place to leave my kitties. I never had those emotional attachments back here anytime I went before, so that's the only thing I worry about. But in terms of going over there, I don't know. For me, I was always just so happy to be there and enjoying myself so much, and, soaking in the Philippine environment, and just a place I love to be. I just, even if I had diarrhea or whatever from eating something I shouldn't have, I wasn't hating my life or worrying about things. You have to think, okay, where's the bathroom at? But other than that, don't let yourself be so scared and worried about what's going to happen, and to the point where you're overthinking things and ruining your fun, But everybody's different. Everybody has different problems. And maybe someday I'll have problems that make me worry more,